Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be doing my October bullet journal setup. First I'm doing the cover page. On a separate sheet of watercolor paper, I'm using watercolors to paint the potion liquid that's roughly the size of a blob coming out of the potion bottle. I'm using colors that kind of look like a galaxy, like purple, blue, and pink. I'm just letting the colors flow into each other and create a blended magical look. For this month, while I was brainstorming for ideas, I thought of October related themes and Halloween. That's what gave me the idea of a magic potion theme. I made sure not to blend out the colors too much because I still wanted to have separate colors. Okay, now I'm done with the color blob. I'll just wait for it to dry. While I'm waiting for it to dry, I'm going to work on the cover. I'm drawing many potion bottles around the page in different shapes and sizes. I left space in the center for the watercolor blob. I'm drawing one big potion bottle that's going to be the bottle with liquid coming out of it. This is going to be filled with watercolor later on. The other potions are all relatively the same size. I kept everything pretty simple. There aren't many complicated drawings in this video because I need to draw these potions a lot throughout my other spreads. I made some with labels and different details. Place the potions randomly, but just make sure you don't draw them too close to each other. Now I'm going to use the leftover watercolor from the blob to color in the big potion bottle so that the bottle is the same color as the blob. This isn't watercolor paper, so it created some blotches, but it's not really noticeable. Now to color in the rest of the potions, I'm going to mix blue and green colored markers on plastic to make a new shade. I'm using a colorless blender to pick up the colors. Now I'll just apply it to the potion like so. This is a great way to get new shades of colors if you don't have the right marker. I colored in the liquid in teal and I also added some color to the glass. This will make it look more realistic. Before the large bottle fully dried, I added some blue streaks throughout the liquid. The blue will blend out a bit more before it dries. I mixed a new pink color by mixing purple and pink. My color scheme for this month is galaxy colors with a little bit of green and yellow. I also tried creating some gradients for some of the potion bottles. It was super fun to color in all of these bottles because I can make different color combinations for each one. It makes the page feel super magical and colorful. Now I'm adding some pink strings to the big bottle. I think it really made the page look a lot more colorful. I have this brown color pencil that I will use to color in the corks. I wanted to use a dark color to create contrast with the pastel potion colors. I'm also using some gray to add some shadows and depth. I think the background looks a little plain, so I'm going to add some sparkles around the page. This will fill in the empty space and make it look more magical. I drew them in groups so that it looks more organized, but I also added a few sporadic ones here and there. The painting wasn't drying fast enough, so I used a hairdryer and sketched my words in the center. Now I'll cut out the painting around the edges. I want to keep the natural watercolor edges of the painting. I tried placing it, but then I noticed that it was covering part of the potion bottle. Since I wanted to look like it's pouring out of the bottle, I decided to sketch out the shape of the missing part and cut a little hole for the potion bottle to show through. Now I can glue it on without worrying about covering part of the bottle. So first I was going to draw the title in full calligraphy like I usually do, but then I realized that it would be a lot faster if I just used a brush pen. I'm still a beginner in calligraphy, so I can't write without a sketch first. In the end, I think it turned out really pretty despite my lack of skill in calligraphy. After that, I added some bubbles in the potion to make it look less plain. I'm also adding some white gel pen to the lettering to make it pop out more. I decided to make the outline of the potion bottle a little bit thicker. Here's the final cover page. I really like how it turned out. Moving on to the calendar page. This page functions as a calendar where I'll write all my events and important dates. I'm using a ruler to draw 31 boxes for each day of October. I drew a second line under each horizontal line to make it look like a bar. On the right side, you can see that I didn't complete the line because there's going to be a potion cloud later on. I drew a bar for the potion shelf. Now I'm writing the days of the weeks on the top. Above the shelf, I'm writing October in a cursive font. I'm using full calligraphy this time because I don't want to use the brush marker, which is more likely to bleed through. First, I wrote the outlines of the letters. Now I'll fill it in. On top of the shelf, I'm going to draw lots of potions. This is kind of like the cover page, except I'm simplifying it a bit since I'll be drawing these potions a lot. I drew them in all different sizes across the shelf. I only drew one shelf because I didn't want it to look too overwhelming. There are many different shapes, skinny, round, wide, and rectangular. I also think it looks better if you draw the liquid in varying heights instead of just drawing it in the middle all of the time. In the bottom corner, I decided to draw a few more potion bottles. Now I'm drawing a few bottles in the other corner. As you can see, I previously left a space in the calendar for the bottle to go through. Now I'll add the quote at the bottom. I usually do a separate quote page, but I decided to put the quote page on the calendar instead of having a separate page. For this quote, I wrote "Create your own magic" in cursive, fantasy-like font. I think this is a perfect match for the potion bottle theme and it fits the overall magic vibe of this theme. After I drew the outline, I just filled it in. I always include a notes box on my calendar, but this time I'm going to use some watercolor to fill it in. I used the same leftover watercolors from before. I want it to look like it's coming out of the potion, so I filled in that with watercolor. While I'm waiting for it to dry, I'll color in the other potions at the top and the bottom. This time I mainly used 2 colors for each bottle. I wanted to keep it simple. I really love coloring these in because I could create multiple colors, gradients, and basically just experiment with any color combinations I wanted. Now I'm adding a few details to the bottle. After that, I'm using a colored pencil to color in the corks. The corks are really tiny, so colored pencils are really good to color these in since they have a lot of precision. I'm using colored pencil to color in the shelf. You could use a marker if you want it to be faster, but I actually like how the colored pencil makes a texture like wood. Also, I colored in the bars on the calendar to make it look like a shelf. Just like the cover page, I'm drawing lots of sparkles to fill in the space. This time I drew some lines and curves along with it. I have this galaxy washi tape that fits perfectly with the theme. It will add some color to the page. Lastly, I'm writing the heading for the notes section. And here is the final result. I love how the notes section turned out. Next is the test tracker. If you saw my September bullet journal video, you would know that the test tracker is a page for students to write down any upcoming tests, projects, or exams. I decided to continue with this page because it was super helpful in the last month. If you don't want this page, you could also turn this into a quote page like I did before. Basically, I'm drawing a chart. The horizontal lines are for writing the test. I also drew 4 columns. At the bottom, I'm drawing some potions. I made them in different shapes. I added some bubbles in some of the potions, and now I'm drawing the outline of the cloud coming out of one of the potion bottles. The cloud is going to surround the test tracker. At the top, I wrote upcoming tests. I used full calligraphy, but if you want to do it faster, you could use a brush pen. I used 2 different fonts to make it look more interesting. I wrote the headings for each of the columns. I'm coloring in the potions at the bottom using mostly pink, blue, and purple. I also made some multicolor ones. Now I'm coloring in the cloud that's coming out of the potion bottle. I decided to use brush pens instead of watercolor because it's such a small space that I need more precision. This will add a lot more color to the page and tie everything together. After that, I'm highlighting the start column and the title bar with blue and pink colors. Now I'll just finish up the potion bottles with some brown colored pencil. And the test page is done. Right next to that is the YT vid plan / brain dump. This is a page where I'll write all my video plans and ideas. I wrote potion recipes as the title, which fits perfectly into the theme. I drew 1 potion at the top of the scroll. I'm writing the real title of the page because this isn't actually for potion recipes. Now I'm drawing 3 potion bottles at the bottom. I tried experimenting with different shapes this time, like a diamond-like shape and a jar shape. I drew a feather in the last potion to make it look like a feather pen. Now I'll color in the potions. I mainly used 1 color for each potion. I realized that I forgot to color in the cork of the pink potion, so I'll do that off camera. For the scroll, I chose an orangey yellow color like old parchment. I'm only going to color in the edges of the scroll. I have some galaxy washi tape again, which I will add to the edges of the pages and fill in the empty space. I ripped the tape into thinner strips. I thought it looked a little plain, so I'm adding some sparkles again. I drew some stars, circles, and lines around the page. And that's the finished video plan page. Moving on to the habit tracker. This page is where I'll track my habits and see which ones I need to improve on. First, I'm writing the title in a calligraphy font. I press harder on the downstrokes to make it thicker. Right now, I'm drawing 8 mini October calendars for each habit I will track. Habit trackers already take some time to draw, so if you don't have that much time, you can skip the decorative elements that I'll be adding later on. I drew the grid inside each habit tracker to create 31 boxes for each day of October. I did the same for the rest of the boxes. I decided to write the habits on the side of the boxes since I'm going to be putting stuff in the middle and I don't want it to be in the way. Now that the habit trackers are done, I'm going to start drawing the potions. My idea is to create a stream of potions flying up the page across the habit trackers. Along with the potions in different shapes and sizes, I drew some little sparkles like moons and stars. I drew most of the potions behind the habit tracker, but I also drew some potions in front of it to add some depth. After that, I'm coloring in the potions. First I went in the base color, then I added in the second color for more dimension. I continued this for the rest of the potions. I forgot to show you how I do the habit tracker, but basically I will color in a box for each day once I do the habit. Now I'm coloring in the sparkles with a yellow color. I think this added some more warmth and filled in the empty space. After that, I'll finish up the potions by coloring in the cork. I'm coloring in the habits with the same yellow color as the sparkles to make it stand out more. After I erased the pencil marks, I just added a few finishing touches. I love how this habit tracker turned out. I think it looks really simple but magical. Now I'll do the mood tracker. The mood tracker is where I'll see how many good or bad days I have. I'm going with a graph style layout this time. I used to do color-coded trackers with individual doodles for each day, but I found it hard to tell what my moods were because the doodles were too distracting. If you like the doodle style mood tracker, check out my other July bullet journal video to see an example. I like the graph style better because it's easier to draw and shows my moods more clearly. For this graph, I decided to go with a bar graph, which is why I drew vertical lines across the page. At the bottom, I'm drawing two little potion bottles. Then I'm adding some sparkles to fill in the empty space. Now I'll just color in the potion bottles. I really like the way I colored in the sparkles in the habit tracker, so I'm going to do that again on this page. I think it adds a lot more color and makes the page look less boring when I color it in. I'm drawing the moods on the vertical axis. The bad moods are lower and the happy moods are at the top. The dates are on the horizontal axis. Again, I'm adding some galaxy washi tape to fill in the space and add some color to the page. I just added a few more stars to finish the page off. Now I'll show you how to use the mood tracker. Each day I'll color in the bar at the height depending on my mood. At the end, you will see the high points and low points of my mood. I forgot to add some washi tape on the habit tracker, so I'm doing that now. Here are the two finished pages next to each other. Next is the weekly spread. This is going to be a student planner layout where I'll write all my tasks, to-do lists, and assignments. I drew a bar on the left side for the subjects. If you don't want a student layout, I have a normal weekly spread layout that you can do in my August bullet journal video. I drew a horizontal line to split up each of the subjects. I split up the boxes into 6, but you can change it according to how many subjects you have. Now I'm drawing vertical lines to make columns for each day of the week. On the right side, I'm drawing the box for the weekend. I generally have less tasks on the weekend, so I'm going to make the boxes smaller. Now I'm writing in the subjects on the sidebar. At the top, I'm writing the dates and the days of the week. This spread doesn't have a lot of decorations, just two little potions at the bottom. I wanted to add a quote to fill in the space, so I wrote, "Make today magical." It's pretty similar to the calendar page quote, but I still like it. I used my brush pen for the word magical to make it stand out more. And of course, I had to add some sparkles around the page. Now I'll just color everything in. I used blue, pink, and purple colors for this spread. As always, I'm going to color in the stars and sparkles with yellow. Now I'm highlighting bars for the days of the weeks. I'm finishing writing the subjects on the side. Then I highlighted them in the light blue. To separate the days a bit more, I'm highlighting the vertical lines in pink. The weekly task box is where I'll write all my tasks that I need to do in the week. I didn't color in the stars for the cover page, so I'm going back and coloring it in. Before the final flip through, please give this video a like. Now on to the final flip through. This theme was super magical and fun to do. Don't forget to give this video a like. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.